with the Get Fit podcast. Today we're going to be doing something special for you guys. We're going to be going over yoga. Alright, I got to let you know that I've never done yoga before. I'm excited to learn a little bit more about the whole yoga atmosphere. And I have my friend with me, Nikki Freeman, who is a licensed yoga instructor here at Total Fitness Gym. Hey Nikki, thanks for joining me today. I'm excited about today. You're going to run me through, we're going to talk a little bit more about some yoga, and you're going to run me through some poses today, so I'm excited about that. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So first of all, I'm super excited that you're here. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. But I'm Nikki Freeman, and I'm a certified yoga instructor here at Total Fitness, like you said. I'm also certified in PiYo, which is a Pilates and yoga fusion sort of class. And then also Zen Bar, which is a yoga and bar fusion class.
Okay.
And also one of our CrossFit coaches here as well. So fitness is a huge part of my life. Yoga is probably like at the top of that in terms of just wellness and active recovery strategies. So yeah, I teach lots of classes here every week, and it's one of my favorite things to do.
What got you into doing yoga? You know, looking at you, I can definitely tell you're fit. Looks like you've done some running, a lot of weightlifting and things like that.
A little bit.
What drove you to get going with yoga of all things?
Well, the crazy thing is, a handful of years ago, I was like really not anti-yoga, but it was just like, I don't need that, right? Like, I don't need that sort of thing. If I'm going to be at the gym, I want to be sweating. I need to do cardio. I need to lift all the weights. But I got to a point where my body hurt all the time, like all the time. I was sore, my knees hurt, my hips hurt, and I just got so tired of feeling like that.
Okay.
And so I decided to pick up like yoga, I don't know, one time a week just to help with that. And it took me a while to really get into that zone and that vibe of like, okay, this is really beneficial. But then one day it just clicked, and I realized that my body didn't hurt anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, I wasn't feeling that fatigue. I wasn't feeling the pain, the tension in my muscles that I used to feel all the time. I also felt a lot more clarity just in terms of like mind and emotional health.
Okay.
And I realized it was because I had added this practice into my life, and I wasn't so resistant to it then.
Okay.
I was like fully embracing it, engaging in the practice, and making sure that I was getting everything out of it that I could have. And then at that point, I was like, I love this, and I want to share this with more people. I had already been teaching group fitness classes here. I knew that was something that I loved, but I felt like yoga was an area where I could really, really help more people and make it an accessible form of wellness to more people, because there are a lot of there's just a lot of preconceived notions.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I have some of those myself.
Sure,
we'll talk about here.
Absolutely.
So do you just do yoga, or do you use yoga as more of like a supplemental part of your everyday training?
Yeah, it's a little bit more of a supplemental part, but
Okay.
I tell you what, it's just paramount to my training.
Okay.
So with weightlifting, it is the perfect marriage.
Uh-huh.
It's the perfect marriage because as you build muscle, you're going to just naturally lose mobility and flexibility because your body just can't move, right? So I have found that with my weightlifting, yoga has actually helped it tremendously, because I can get lower in my squats and I don't feel any pain. Mm-hmm. My shoulder mobility, my hip and knee mobility is so much stronger and just better overall.
Absolutely.
So it helps my weightlifting. It also helps muscle fatigue and soreness. It's perfect.
So when we do the stretches and we lengthen the muscle, and I know you talked about it, it helps prevent injury.
Yes.
Now, can I burn calories? Can I, not necessarily get the uber yoked,
right.
But you burn calories,
yeah.
I'm excited about that part. So what are some of the cardiovascular and some of the other health benefits that come with doing the yoga?
Sure. You absolutely burn calories when you're doing yoga. And the cool thing about yoga is there's so many different types of yoga, and some of them are going to be higher caloric burns than others.
Okay.
Like a restorative or a yin class, much slower. You're obviously going to burn calories, but you're there more for restoration, deeper stretches that you hold for a long time. Mm-hmm. Hot yoga, hatha yoga, it's a little bit faster paced, it's a little bit more intense, that calorie burn is obviously going to increase. So you get that caloric burn. It raises your metabolic rate because you're so connected into the mind-body-breath connection.
Okay.
Cardiovascular wise, it's so good for heart health because again, it's about the body and the breath connection. And it's also just pushing because it's so focused on breath and body together. So when we're pushing that oxygenated blood through the body, it just helps filter out toxins. It helps your heart work a little bit better. And then that's not even touching on the mental and emotional components that come along with it as
Absolutely.
well. Yeah.
Now, and I want to talk about that here shortly too.
Yeah.
But one thing, when you talked about the weightlifting side, 'cause,
Yeah.
I do a lot of weightlifting.
Yeah.
I do a lot. Back in the day, I used to do a lot of football and wrestling, but powerlifting.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I've trained a lot doing that, but I've also noticed, my flexibility isn't, the range of motion isn't there. Now I'm getting a little bit older. I'm starting to have some joint issues on my shoulders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was doing some research before we got here, and I was looking at some of these NFL football players. And there are some players, some of these big offensive and defensive line, they're 6'6", 350 pounds, and they're so agile and flexible.
Oh, yeah.
And I understood that, kind of thought into that and looked a little bit, and the NFL now is moving a lot of their bigger offensive linemen to yoga.
Yeah.
For that flexibility and things like that.
Yeah.
So now talking a little bit more about the physical, we talked about it's great for your heart, it's great for your joints, it's great for your muscle. Let's talk a little bit about the spirit, not spiritual, but the mental
Sure. Yeah.
benefits of doing this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
tell me a little bit more about that side.
So what I have found with yoga is it's not just about the body. Sure, it's great for the body. And the one thing I should have mentioned earlier with the body and the physical side is, for me, it's all about making sure that my body is able to do this 20, 30, 40 years down the road, right? And so this is one of those practices. This is one of those wellness sort of things that can keep us moving, keep that functional fitness in place so we can keep up with grandkids. We can do all the things we want to do well into our life, as opposed to getting to 60 years old and feeling like you can't enjoy life anymore because your body hurts all the time.
Right.
So I should have mentioned that earlier. But back to that mental and emotional component. What's really awesome about yoga is it's not just about feeding the body and helping the body. It's about calming the mind and having more control over the mind. And so the more control we have over our mind and our emotions, the more settled we feel, the calmer we feel, the more peace we experience. And it is just a wonderful way to remove ourselves from the constant busyness and chaos of life, which is American culture.
Absolutely.
Like total, we glorify busy.
Absolutely.
And if we think about taking a break, we think it's lazy, right? If we think about doing something for ourselves, we think it's lazy. Like we have to be on the go all the time. We have to be doing all the things all the time. We have this hustle mentality. But honestly, when we live in that hustle mentality all the time, that's when our emotional and mental health really start to suffer. And here's the thing, all of them are interconnected. So when your mental and emotional health are suffering, your physical health is going
Absolutely.
to suffer. And vice versa.
Absolutely. And the stress factor.
Oh, absolutely.
When you're stressed, you can be busy at work, and then, and sometimes you eat right, you stay busy at work, and you're under all the stress, and you'll notice that you're just gaining weight.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that quite a bit too. And I'm like,
yeah.
well, I'm eating right and I'm exercising. What's going on?
Right.
Well, it's that cortisol. Your body, when you get the stress, your body understands it's under stress, and it wants to. The body's an amazing thing.
Oh yeah.
We've evolved over millions of years to be where we're at today. So our ancestors, if this was the case, they felt, well, I better store as much. My body's under stress. I better store as much calories as I can to we may be going to starvation mode.
Right.
So stress is a big deal.
It is.
Can you tell me a little bit how different from when you were mentally when you before you started doing yoga, and how are you feeling now? And what are some of the noticeable benefits on the physical and the mental side that you've noticed?
Sure. Yeah. I think a lot of it is that ability to calm the mind, right? So I have a pretty high stress job when I'm a university professor, so I'm on summer break now. But so I have a pretty high stress job, as do most Americans, right? And it's very easy when you get fatigued, when you get so tired and stress is high, those emotional responses come out so quickly, right? We don't have the ability to really tap into that rational, logical thought process because we're just so emotionally fueled because our brain is tired, our body is tired. I noticed that I wasn't sleeping well at all. So I just felt tired all the time. And it wasn't just wow, my body is tired. It was one of those tireds where my brain just felt exhausted. I felt empty a lot, and it was just getting stuck in this day-to-day routine of just get through the day, have a really restless night of sleep again, get up, do it again, feel like garbage all day long because your brain is exhausted, your heart's exhausted, your body feels horrible. I guess this is what life is, right? Oh my gosh, that's not what we were designed for, right? That's not what life should be like at all. And so when I started to really get into my yoga practice here, when I was taking classes with other instructors, but then also in my own training and then just my own practice at home, I started to realize the amount of control I had over my thought pattern and also my emotional responses had just increased tremendously. So rather than going into that immediate emotional response, I had the cognition to be able to sort of talk myself out of that, think a little bit more logically and rationally about the situation, restore that level of calm and peace, and honestly live in more of that state as opposed to this huge fluctuation. It helped my sleep tremendously, right? Because so many of us cannot shut our brain off at night. You lay down and you're thinking about your to-do list and all the millions
what you didn't do that day.
Yes, exactly. So I have found that if I start to find that I'm a little bit more restless again, I start doing yoga right before I go to bed.
Okay.
Even just a couple poses, right? And it slows me down. It slows my breath down. It's that cue for my body to start to just calm itself. And then I sleep better as well. So it's just created a little bit more of a peaceful, steady, and positive state to live in, as opposed to this roller coaster of emotions full of sleepless nights and tired, mind, body, spirit, everything. So yeah, it's just been beneficial, holistically beneficial for me.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up. And one thing that I've always kind of been interested in yoga, but I've been afraid to try it. I just felt, I'm not the right demographic for yoga. Kind of take me with that. What kind of people do you see here, and what kind of stigma would you like to just squash with everybody?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question, because one of the things that just breaks my heart about yoga is that stigma, it's not for me. When people say, I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible, I'm just wait a second,
that's why you should be doing it.
That's why you should be doing yoga. And yoga truly is for everybody. So it doesn't matter if you feel like you are too muscular, or if you are too heavy, or you don't have the right body type or frame. It truly is for everybody. There's so many modifications, which is great. My demographic here at Total Fitness is a really fun one. I love it so much because I have the largest spectrum of people possible. I have people who practice yoga 3 to 4, maybe even 5 times a week, and this is their jam. This is their thing, right? But then, just because we're a gym and we're also a CrossFit box, I have a ton of weightlifters and very intense CrossFitters that come to class. So obviously their mobility is a little bit different than my, people who are here all the time practicing every day. But we have such a fun community, and we have such a great just environment. And every single one of those people contribute to that.
Sure.
So it's not just a fun practice. It's not just a fun, like, cool class to do. It really is a community.
Very good.
And we cheer each other on. We support each other. So my classes tend to be very accessible.
Okay.
Because I want everybody to know that they could do it, right? So in terms of ages, I have high school students all the way up to, probably people in their 60s, 70s doing class with me. Body type, all body types, totally fine. One thing that I'm extremely passionate about is, like I said, making sure that we are setting people up to have the healthiest lifestyle they can for the longest time that they can. So that means working on mobility. That means working on core strength.
Core,
Because,
absolutely.
Yes,
yeah,
we power through our core in almost everything. So I absolutely love working with our population here because it's so vastly different, but it's so accessible to all of them,
Yeah.
and we have so much fun while we do it.
Absolutely. So you have these classes, and how often are they provided here at Total Fitness?
So we do a lot of hot yoga here.
Oh, okay.
That tends to be our clientele's jam. That's
It's
what
just
they
hot yoga.
really prefer.
Unfortunately,
Yep.
gang, we're not doing the hot yoga today. I wasn't quite ready for that one.
But that's okay. I'll get him in there another time. So we do that 3 nights a week.
Okay.
And we have PIO classes 3 days a week.
Okay.
And then I have my Zen bar, which is that yoga bar fusion class, 2 days a week as well.
Okay.
And then occasional Saturdays
Sure.
as well.
So below here on this comment, we'll have a link here with Total Fitness and also some of the times and schedules with the opportunity to come and meet with Nikki and do some of the yoga and things that she offers.
Yeah.
But we talked earlier off camera, Nikki, and there's a new project that you're starting here.
Yeah.
And you say you're pretty passionate about it. I'm pretty passionate about it because one of the goals with Get Fit, the Get Fit initiative, is to really talk a little bit more about mental health and mental and spiritual health. Tell me a little bit about your youth program that you're doing and why that is so important to you.
Sure. Well, this summer we are starting a new program for girls ages 10 to 16.
Okay.
And it's 8 weeks long, and it's focused not only on physical health, but like you said, the mental and the emotional health as well. So it's a very holistic type of program. One thing that I'm just really passionate about is making sure that young women grow up to have confidence in who they are as people. And unfortunately, we live in a society where they are bombarded with social media and images and, just a lot of messages that tear people down instead of build them up. And I've seen it so much lately in that age demographic, and it just breaks my heart, the confidence issues that young women are feeling. And let's face it, older women, and honestly men too, like we all struggle with it. Like I kind of want to offer this class for everybody, but we're going to start here for now.
Sure.
And so half of the class is going to be focused on organized fitness, where we're teaching them proper form, technique, different sorts of modes of fitness to give them tools and different techniques to keep their bodies healthy. And then the other half of the class, and this happens every single session, is we're delving into some of these issues that those girls have to deal with on a daily basis.
Yep.
So body image, confidence, diet culture, holistic approaches to wellness, and how that impacts us as a person and our self-esteem, and how that impacts academic performance, and just how important it is to build these young women up. And then building on that, helping them figure out how to take that and kind of share that with their circles as well.
Absolutely.
Right?
And right now it's even more important because when I grew up, when I was the age 10 to 16, we didn't have the social media.
Right.
I think I had the Oregon Trail game.
Oh yeah.
That was my jam. You're talking like that was my jam.
Died of dysentery.
Absolutely. Every time. And there wasn't Google to Google what dysentery was.
I know.
I actually had to go to the library and go and figure out what dysentery was.
Yes, exactly.
But there was bullying back then. And anymore, cyberbullying is huge.
So
and now the fact that we were locked up for a year, all these kids spent, there wasn't a lot of that interaction anymore with them.
Right.
They were on the computer, they were on social media, and all those different platforms out there.
Yeah.
So I guarantee, personally, I don't know, but I can just imagine with everything with COVID, how much more cyberbullying there was.
Right. And just the feelings of not feeling like you're connected, like you're isolated, and that starts to impact, how you see yourself as well. So we're super excited about this. The other coach that's helping with this is Carissa Logan, and she's a licensed counselor.
Okay, very good.
So we are, oh my gosh, I'm just so excited to share this with the community and with this population. And we're hoping that it really grows because, like we said, this isn't just an issue that demographic is dealing with. I mean, everybody deals with these sorts of things in terms of body positivity and how we view ourselves and how hard we are on ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
So we're really hoping that this can be a great way to build these young women up, to see themselves as being amazing, powerful, phenomenal young women.
Absolutely. Bring up that self-esteem. So, guys, if you're listening today, if you know of any kid, you have a kid, a young lady between the ages of 10 to 16, interested in learning a little bit more about the yoga, Nikki, how can they go ahead and get a hold of you, and where can they get some of that information?
Right. So we have a flyer. If you go to CrossFit Sedalia or email crossfitsedalia@gmail.com,
okay,
we can send you the information, and I can send that to you, and we can link it in the comments
absolutely.
as well.
Yep.
Otherwise, people can reach out to me on social media or our CrossFit Sedalia page or Total Fitness page. Reach out on social media as well, and we can get you the information.
Okay. And when do those classes start?
So the first class is the first Friday, or no, the second Friday in June.
Second Friday in June, so it's coming right up.
Yes,
it's coming right up, absolutely.
Yeah.
If they can't make the first one, are you going to offer additional classes?
Yeah, so it's an 8-week program.
Okay.
And so it will be on Fridays at 9 o'clock in the morning until 10:30.
Okay.
So we have a nice chunk of time to, like I said, delve into those issues, but then also work out and celebrate people's accomplishments. And the last class is going to be this huge celebration, like feats of strength, where we just really honor and get excited about what all of these amazing women can accomplish.
Absolutely.
Yeah, super pumped.
That's dynamite, and I'm glad you're doing that. Something I posted on my Facebook this morning, and I was listening to Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
He's a big inspiration of mine, and I just love the passion that he has for what he does. He uses his God-given ability to help the world.
Right.
It says something, what I posted is, if you're going to be strong for a reason.
Yeah.
If you're going to be smart for a reason. And if you're going to be gifted for a reason. So, if we can teach our young children that, and all you guys out there in the Get Fit community listening to this today, we're all in the same battle together. We want to come together as a community. We want to come together as a family and just make our lives better any way we possibly can. And it comes from people like you, Nikki. So I appreciate everything that you do. And I'm glad you're taking the time to speak with us today. So after this, we're going to go ahead and do some poses.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll let you guys know when you watch it. I've never done yoga before. I have trouble tying my shoes.
We can help with that.
So guys, if I can do it, of all people, I invite you guys to give yoga a chance. So see my friend Nikki down here at Total Fitness. Again, below in the links, we'll have some information of how you guys can contact you.
Sure.
So before we sign off, anything else you wanted to tell our Get Fit community today?
No, I'm just super excited. And honestly, if you are feeling that you are one of those people that says, oh, I don't know, I don't feel like I fit into that community, know that you do. Know that you do. It's not for just one type of person. It's not for a specific demographic. Yoga truly is for everybody. And so sometimes you find the best things for you are when you put that fear aside or you put those preconceived notions aside. Try it and see what it could do for you. It might be life-changing. It totally was for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Get Fit gang, we're going ahead and sign off. Make sure you guys tune in for the next week's episode, and make sure you watch me get in my yoga poses. So.